out that everybody dies when I was 8. It's weird because, you know, you're not born with that knowledge. Although I think you kind of know. I think even a baby that's just born looks around and goes, yeah, this shit ain't gonna last. But at some point you find out. When I was 8 years old, my grandfather told me. Because somebody had told me in school, I'd heard something about it, everybody dies. And I asked my grandfather, and he said, yeah, everybody dies. That's right. You can win some battles, but you're going to lose the war. So go outside and dig yourself a hole and make it a little bigger every year. So now I knew this thing, that everybody dies. And once a kid knows that, you can't really dial it back. And I wasn't scared that everybody dies. The more important thing to me was that I knew it, and that other kids my age didn't know yet. And I wanted to tell them. I wanted to be the one to bring the news. There was a kid across the street from me, his name was Benji. I fucking hated Benji. I fucking hated him. He was a piece of shit, cocksucker asshole. I didn't even know those words yet, that's how I felt. And the first time I heard somebody say, piece of shit, cocksucker asshole, I was like, that's what Benji is. Anyway, one day Benji came over and he was being a fucking dick. And I said to him, you know, Benji, someday you're gonna die. He was like, what? I said, you're gonna die someday. He said, no, you're not. And I said, yes, you are. Everybody dies. You're gonna die. Your mommy's gonna die. And your daddy's gonna die. In that order. Anyway, he got very upset, and he cried, and went home. And he came back with his mom. And his mom was like, what did you say to him? And so I told him that everybody dies. And she said, well, that's not necessarily true. I was like, what? She said, not everybody dies. It's a true story. I was like, but I thought everybody dies. She said, no, not everyone. And in my little 8-year-old brain, this is the logic I come up with. I said, what about like the presidents, like George Washington, Lincoln, and the founding fathers? And she said, well, Lincoln got shot and that was too bad. And George Washington got sick, but there's still people alive from those days. And I was like, really? And she goes, we have to go. And she bolted. Because I think she realized she couldn't keep going down this road. It was just going to get fucking worse and worse. And I told my mom the whole story, and my mom said, don't worry, that lady's a fucking idiot. My mom said to me, don't worry, baby, you're definitely going to die. Thanks a lot, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it yourselves. You guys were a great crowd. Thank you very much. Some of the people in Hartford. Thank you. Wait, one more minute. 1 second. Don't leave. You ready? Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Chappelle. Give him a hand.
Thank you. Listen to that, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable. I did not think I would ever come back to Hartford again. It was a year ago tonight. I had 364 nights to think about that fatal night 1 year ago. Yeah, I was really immature about what happened. right after I left, I'm sorry I did this. I made t-shirts that said "fuck Hartford" on them. I didn't do that. I'm sorry I did that. And I hate to tell you that they were very big sellers. Got a lot of internet orders from Hartford. That was a surprise. And I had all these good jokes, man, you know, but all year I was like, you know what, I just want to go back there because that was so fucked up. And tonight's on me, this is a free big.
Thank you, Dave!
I have another sad addition to make. I didn't prepare. I figured showing up was funny enough. You have no fucking idea what happens to a guy like me after the show goes that wrong. But it started immediately. I walked off the stage and the bullshit started. I knew I was TMZ. I didn't have to read the paper the next day, but the worst part about it was I had another show to do the very next night. The next night, I was in Chicago. I don't know, I wouldn't go to Chicago, especially after the shit y'all pulled. But it wasn't easy. You know what it's like to bomb that bad and do a show less than 24 hours later? It would be like having sex with a woman, and for some reason, she had a mousetrap in her pussy. We had to fuck her again tomorrow night. It's very difficult to get that second erection. Yeah. Man, I walked out on stage in Chicago and I was scared as shit. I don't know, I've never been scared on stage. I was fucking horrified. And my first joke was not funny. It wasn't terrible. I went over the joke about Kim Jong-un. This is some last year shit. Kim Jong-un, of course, the leader of North Korea, had said at that time that he wanted to blow up the United States with a nuclear bomb. He actually said that. And what made it scary is that right after he said it, he brought Dennis Rodman to North Korea. So he was like, this guy wants to kill everybody in America except for Dennis Rodman? What the fuck is this? And the crowd kind of chuckled. And then I did this joke about like Barack Obama having a press conference, a terrible impression of Barack. But fellow Americans, you might have heard the Kim Jong-un of North Korea says he wants to destroy our country with a nuclear bomb. And from the intelligence I have, this is close. It's 2 months away from achieving just that. And then the guy with the nuclear briefcase walks on stage and a joke and opens it for Barack, and Barack puts his finger on the button like, Kim, our ship is ready today. So there's not going to be a negotiation. Here's where we start. You send Dennis Rodman back to me. And if you harm one pink or purple or green hair on that black hair, you know, like this. And the crowd liked that shit. You know, it was the Midwest. They were like, oh, America! And then I got in and said, fuck yeah! They were like, yeah! I said, man, if that motherfucker ever dreams of dropping a nuclear bomb on this great country, they're like, ooh! I said, I hope that shit gets Hartford, Connecticut. That's what I said. It was just the next day I was still mad. Then I went out to a club, man, and long story short, had sex with a woman that was 78 years old. That was some of the best pussy I'd ever had in my life. I've taken a tour through history. Kept calling me young man when she fucking take this young man. All these weird moves like churning butter and all this shit. I'm not going to go in and out. I'm not going to go too deep into it. But old pussy is fucking fantastic. It's like, just don't knock it till you try it. You guys can probably just drive by the senior citizens' homes. Don't even think about it. I see a treasure trove of untapped pussy just sitting there being wasted. You got to know how to play it. Show up around 5 o'clock. That's when they give you the medicine. Wear the right sweater. Hi, I'm just here to check on my grandma. You don't mind if I take a look around? Anyway. Long story short. Are you sure this is Hartford? I swear to God, I thought you were going to boo me the minute I came out. Wow. Oh, you guys managed. Thank you so much. Boy, I wish you guys were here last year. This city is schizophrenic. It's like a whole other city from last year. That motherfucker is just retarded, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not really articulate person. Retarded. No disrespect to retarded people. I love you too. And you know what happened? Okay, so I watched this documentary. Louis C.K. was talking about how babies take gay people. And it's true. I've noticed that too, but I was watching a documentary. The documentary was called Gay in America. And it was in 3 parts. The first part was all about gay men. And all the gay men they interviewed were black. I thought it was weird, to say the least. Because in the black community, in my experience, I have not heard a very open discourse on alternative sexuality. I'd say like talk about it, but not in a way that is considered constructive. At best, it'll be like, oh, that ain't sweet. And the interviewer was white, so she was asking like all these questions about gayness, but she wasn't asking the kind of shit that a black dude would ask another black dude about being gay. For instance, I was doing an interview. The first question would be, like, all right, fine, you're gay. But